I got fired after 3 days of working at this job. So I need you guys to tell me if I'm crazy for about what happened. I'm 26. I've had so many jobs. I've never, ever, ever, ever been fired from a job. Not only that, these jobs that we have asked me to come back and work with them. So to set the scene, I applied for this job on Thursday. Dude texts me Thursday, hey, can you interview tomorrow? Friday. I interview on Friday for like an hour. Everything's great. He's like, come interview again with my wife on Monday. I go in on Monday, 2-hour interview. We're living it up, having a great time. And they're like, I know you have another job and you could have the assistant manager position, but we really want you to have a manager position. We believe in you so much, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay, you know what? You believe in me. I appreciate that. Yes, I'll do it. I start work the next day. There are 2 other new hires, okay? And they are just normal associates. So they're training as well as I'm training, but they're a week ahead of me. By the way, this company was hiring for 9 months.
Hey guys, so if you're new here, I am Boss from Home. I am a career coach who has helped thousands of people break into work. And so I now cover jobs, layoffs, job market chaos, workplace delulu, and also why everyday life feels like it's priced like a luxury handbag. And over here, I will not be sugarcoating anything. I share real stories of what real people are going through right now in today's climate. So if you're tired of being gaslit by employment and the cost of living in America, why don't you go ahead and hit subscribe? Because guess what? That is probably the only thing that is still free right now. So today's story is from a woman who worked in retail and she was fired under some strange reasons. She tells the whole entire story. Let's get into it.
So basically what she tells me is she like sit back, kind of like gather the information, kind of just watch a lot. Like it's just a lot of information. So she wouldn't teach me a lot of things. And the things that she would teach me, she would just teach me over and over again. Okay. So 3 whole days I worked there. Looking back, there's some weird situations. Number one of the girls has a migraine, doesn't come in, and I'm like, oh my God, I hope she's okay. The girl literally rolls her eyes and like doesn't believe her. She comes the next day and tells us that she was homeschooled because of all the medical problems she had. Then a girl comes in with her baby's crying. She goes up to the baby and like touches the baby or something, and the girl's like, do not touch my baby. And she's like, oh my God, I've never been told that before. And then on a situation, someone comes in, says they're just looking. I kind of just watch them, ask them again if they need anything. They say no. They walk out the door, and as we walk out the door, I go, bye, have a nice day. And she goes, wrong. And I laugh. And she's like, no, seriously, that was wrong. I was like, what do you mean? She's like, when they're leaving, you need to go chase them down and ask them what they came into the store for and what they need. Ma'am, I'm not doing that. And also, she is someone who was like bringing up weird conversations, like conversations you probably shouldn't talk about at work, but if she brought them up, I'm going to talk about them. Like she was talking about like drinking underage, talking about like going to parties. And so I'm thinking, oh, like we're all comfortable, like I can talk about this stuff too. Apparently not. So I'm not saying that I was in the wrong 100%. I just didn't know. I'm following her lead. She also would not give me a complete list of what I was supposed to do. So I'd be like, what do you want me to do? And she'd be like, oh, you know, just like whatever you think. What do you mean? What do you like? This is your store. Like, what do you want me to do? Like, she wouldn't teach me the morning routine. She wouldn't teach me the closing routine. It was basically just kind of like watch, learn, listen, ask a lot of questions. AKA, there's no management structure at all. Not only that, she was low-key talking shit about other people in front of me. So there's that. But I didn't think anything of it. So I am gone for the weekend, and so I had a game. I went to a Colts game. And so Monday comes around and she's like, hey, I don't know what your schedule is like, but call me when you have a chance. I'm like, yeah, sure, what's up? Because it's like a weird week. And so I called her and she's like, how was the Colts game? Like, how was everything? And I was like, oh my God, it was like too much fun. I had such a great time. Blah, 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 blah. Like asking me about my day. Cool. And then she goes, so, you know, these conversations are never easy. And I'm like, oh my God, like I did something wrong. Like I'm getting in trouble. I'm like, oh God, like I wish you would have told me. No, she goes, basically you're too much. And you are just, I love your personality, but it's too big of a personality to work here, a sales position for selling clothes. It's too big of a personality to work here. You really need to like reel it in. And honestly, you're just unteachable. So this is just not going to work. I have never in my life been told I am unteachable. Ma'am, I worked there for 3 days and you wouldn't trust me with anything.
Okay, so I have so many thoughts here. All right, so that was crazy, right? And so let me get this straight. So this woman, she had multiple jobs. She said that she's worked many jobs. She's only 26 years old and she has worked them successfully. No problems, no issues. She's never been fired. And she's actually been called back from previous employers to come back and work for them again. Yet this one company that she only worked for 3 days is mentioning how she's like unteachable after only 2 hours. And so this tells me a lot about the workplace environment, that it's more about them than it is about her, according to what she's mentioning here. Now, as a career coach and someone who's worked within retail before, I see this a lot where the companies basically hand you a huge amount of responsibility because they're ferociously hiring. Like, they're urgently hiring for people, and they know that these roles are high turnover roles. So people don't really, they don't really stay in that role very long. They either get, uncomfortable and leave. They either get discontented and leave, frustrated, maybe the pay is not so great, and they end up leaving quickly. And so the position is almost always open. And she also mentioned that they were hiring for 9 months. That's a long time for a retail role. Retail almost always fills up very quickly with people that are interested. So for them to be hiring for 9 full months, it kind of sounds like a red flag to me. And the fact that they could not fill 3 positions that she mentioned were open at that time. That is a lot. That just shows that the establishment, there's some kind of issue there. And it sounds like maybe a mom and pop type of situation. I don't know, because she mentioned that she was spoken to by the husband and he referred back to the wife. So somehow it's like a family-owned business. Somewhere within the retail field. And like I mentioned, I was once in this situation too, where I was given a kind of an associate management role at a very well-known establishment. And I I did not qualify for that role because everything in my background was aimed toward education. However, I received this role and I was really grateful. This was so many years ago when we were just getting started as a family. And so I accepted the position. At that time, it paid really well. When you compare, hourly rates with other places of employment, I was pretty happy. But the fact that so I was expecting to be trained really well for this management position, because management is really important, and managers should know exactly what they're doing. They should come well trained. And so I was, expecting to get trained extensively. I was expected to be able to ask all the questions. Keep in mind, I was not qualified for the role. I never did this type of role before. However, they gave it to me and they just kind of ran through, like she said, kind of gave me like a quick run through of the training. But the role itself was, the way that they designed the role and the training is that you learn as you go. And that didn't fit well with me, because I was already nervous with the fact that this is a new job, new position I've never worked at, never worked within this field. I did work within the field, but not as a manager, right? So I was already really nervous, really trying to, your first day of jitters, you just want to impress the management team. You want to impress your higher ups. And so I really wanted to get it right, because one thing about me is I have a work ethic where I'm almost like a perfectionist. So I started my first few days, getting trained, moving around. But at the same time, they only gave me like a few days training, and then they pretty much said, okay, well, we gave you the blueprint. Now go ahead and make it work. And I was nervous. So I was constantly calling back my supervisor, asking for his help. I was given such a important, crucial task at the end of each day, and I was nervous. And yet I felt like I was being a burden every time I would ask a question. Oh, what did you do now? And, just my boss at that time, he was borderline toxic. I think I mentioned before, but one time we were supposed to be, focusing on a certain objective for that day. I don't want to give it away because you guys might find out who I worked with, but there was a certain objective that we had to meet, kind of like a KPI, key performance metric, something that we needed to get done, and it had to get done in a certain amount of those things needed to get done in order to meet that quota. And so, we were right in the middle of that season trying to get towards our goal. And so my boss saw that, my particular time of working there, our team was not particularly making that goal met, right? And so he was texting me as the associate manager, texting me during the shift, like harassing me, low-key harassing me. Hey, did you do this? And I'm just like, sir, this is not working in my mind at that time. But then I realized, you know what? I really need to be more forthcoming and speak what needs to be spoken and set some hard boundaries. So I texted him, hey, do not text me during my shift. I am not answering my phone. As you should, right? I mean, during work, you should not be on your phone anyway. But for whatever reason, he was ferociously firing up texts like back to back to back. And it distracted me, and it also made me even more nervous on top of already being nervous that I was not hitting my goal. I was not pleasing my higher ups. I was just in a state where I just wanted to make a great impression, and I just felt like I was being kind of like a failure. That job had me going back home in tears every day. I was crying, and just wondering what I should do. Eventually, I did quit the job. I gave them 2 weeks notice. I did it the right way. I didn't just walk out because, listen, there were days that I really wanted to just say, you know what? Because I lived like right across the street, honestly. Deuces on my lunch break and never come back. And they would definitely be in some hot water if I didn't show back up, because I had a manager position and that was really crucial for the time at that time. So honestly, I wanted to just walk out and not see them again. But I thought to myself, you know what? I want to do things the right way, because even though this is a hard season in my life where I feel like I'm under so much pressure to perform and I'm not exactly doing what I need to get done, I want to leave with the right attitude, with integrity. And that's how I approach everything. I always want to do things the right way with integrity. And looking back, I know that I was not in my flow. That was not the right fit for me. I am not that, I'm not the personality for that particular role. And that's okay. I'm very grateful for the things that I learned on the job at that time. But I know, just looking back, that that was not a good fit for me. I did develop my skill set. I did develop certain characteristics, but that was just not a good fit at all.
Literally. Ma'am, I have worked as an umpire. I've worked at Starbucks. I've worked at Target. I've worked an administrative assistant position. You're telling me I'm unteachable? So she basically told me that I could work as like a normal associate, but then was like, I'm going to come drop off a check to you. So in conclusion, we think that she was either two-faced, jealous of me and my confidence, I don't really know, or she just knew she couldn't control me. Like, I really don't know the situation, but obviously the universe was protecting me because I wear my evil eye bracelets. And then so I told my current job about what happened, and they looked at me like that was crazy. They were like, that was so unprofessional. I was like, okay, thank you for agreeing with me. Like, I thought I was crazy, but...
For this story, I would say that one of the biggest red flags is that they already had just a few hires, only 2 hires plus her, and they just couldn't fit all of the positions that they had open. And they've been hiring for 9 months now. That's insane, especially during this time where a lot of people are looking for work. Other red flags include the unprofessional behavior, the trainer talking about the colleagues, gossiping, also talking about the customer's boundaries that were set when she was trying to touch the customer's baby, illegal drinking, talking about that at work. I think she was trying to test her out to see where her character stood and maybe to trip her up a little bit. I don't know, maybe she was fishing for a reason. Some of these companies, they do some really shady things where they try to fish out and try to see who you are and get cause for you to say or do something that would cause you to get written up or even fired. And then the fact that they said she's not teachable when she, according to her, mentioned that they did not provide many opportunities for good training. So they pretty much just gave her like a video training and then just threw her out to the wolves. I completely understand what that's like, and that's frustrating because you really, for us perfectionists, we want to know that we are doing the right thing and we are presenting our very best self to companies, especially during this time when people are hungry for work. So the fact that she framed the narrative to say that she was not teachable, I don't like that. I don't agree with that. And I think according to this particular company, they said that she was not a good fit. But I think in reality, they just were not happy with the fact that she did not conform to their dysfunction. Even though she said she kind of went along with certain things, I think they picked up on her personality and her character. They said that she's just too much. From the language that she gave, she said that it was the wife that was speaking to her, that was training her and whatnot. So I don't know. That might be a little bit of a weird situation where perhaps she's working with her husband. Maybe there was kind of like a little bit of a workplace, weirdness going on. I don't know if there was jealousy involved. I don't know. There could be anything involved here. And also, that particular trainer was trying to get a little too close with her. So there is a thing called boundaries in the workplace. Your coworkers are not your friends, all right? They are not, even though you could be very much friendly outside of the workplace, within the workplace, you are supposed to remain professional at all times. So talking about things like partying and so forth, that was just a little weird and fishy. And like I mentioned, I think she was trying to kind of pull out certain things to see who this woman really is and possibly get her in trouble. And she basically walked into this job that already had no structure. All right, I know, I know what this is like when you walk into a place. All right, you are someone who's used to being organized, being, regimented. And when you walk into a place that's already unorganized, dysfunctional, that type of thing, it don't fit well, right? So that's the type of environment that she walked into. And in addition to that, there was no communication. There was no clarity. The trainer basically treated her like a threat. So that's more like a liability. So I think that her boss did her a favor by letting her go because the environment already did not have good structure. And most likely for those type of jobs, they look to the manager to be the savior for the entire workplace that has been in shambles for years. So she's fortunate to not be working there right now because they would have looked at her and scrutinized every single thing, like as if the problem wasn't already there before she even stepped foot into the role. And so if you have ever been in this position before, I would say don't internalize the issues that come against you in workplace environments like this. Like her, if you were fired, listen, you were freed up from that workplace environment. It is not a place for you to thrive. You would more likely be stressed out like I was, going home in tears, headaches, feeling sick at night because you just can't find peace knowing that you have to continue going back to that job, continuing to perform the way that you are. Even if you did, say, make the boss happy in one or two instances, you would have to work really hard to continue that act. So it's better to be labeled like you're not a good fit in a toxic work environment like this. So what do you guys think? Let us know down below in the comment section. Have you ever been in a position like this where you were working in a toxic environment? Or were you ever fired for some strange reason? Let us know down below if you're comfortable sharing. And thank you guys so much for watching this video. Go ahead and share this video with someone that you know that maybe was in this position or could actually use some encouragement here. Let's encourage one another down below in the comment section. Get in the comment section, let's talk, and I will see you guys in the next video.